stupid, but she definitely does not belong on TV at all. Let's put it this way, she's no Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
Love Vicky or hate Vicky. Vicky deserved to be on TV. You know, she owned the screen when she was on there. Brandy is not good heat. Sometimes they say there's no such thing as that.
Well, it seems like the bunny Alley is planning to take her down a notch. I guess we'll see how that works out.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think Awesome Kong is going to rip through the Butcher and the Blade. You know.
Yep.
It'll be good times though.
I do love how Awesome Kong's character is progressing though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Taking scalps. I dig that whole aspect. It's pretty cool.
Truly.
And if they're doing it now where women are donating their hair for locks of love or something along those lines, that's even better.
Yeah.
It's a heel gimmick for a good reason, and that makes me really happy to be a wrestling fan.
And yeah, could you have it be any better? You have your cake and you eat it too, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Then I also watched NXT, which was good, but I wouldn't watch until next week when they're going to be... it's going to be Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Keith Lee in a triple threat to determine the number one contender for Adam Cole's title. Now that's going to be a match to watch.
That is going to be fun.
I'm so huge on Keith Lee right now. It's amazing.
And we do have to mention, I think it was last week, not this week, but we didn't air last week. Reason not to watch, NWA Power had a lights out match. It was Question Mark versus who's the big ass beast? Why am I drawing a blank here? Because I didn't come prepared. I just remember watching it. Oh my gosh. Zane Dawson. It's Question Mark versus Zane Dawson in an empty arena match. And an empty arena match, I'm an old school guy. That should be fight all over through the stands, into the aisleways, throwing people around.
They just kicked 15 people bloody out of the building for a match, basically.
I'd say bloody. But this one was an empty arena match that took place in the middle of the ring. It was like 5-6 minutes long, and there was no hardcore action at all. It was basically just a regular match, just nobody's seen it.
It sucks because their 30 fans are really strong. A really strong crowd.
And I've been loving NWA Power, and I really haven't had anything negative to say about it. But, man, I was really, really disappointed.
Well, it's about time, episode. I guess. Everybody's got to prove they're mortal at some point.
Exactly. So that's a reason not to watch NWA Power. Is if you read that there was a empty arena match on Power and you like Question Mark, well, I've been digging the Question Mark character.
You know what? They did that lights out unsanctioned match on Power for all the fans who complained about the Moxley Omega match being too violent.
Being too violent, yeah.
This is how you do a lights out match. It was Jim Cornette's last request on his way out the door.
And it was just awful. So, there you go, folks. For everybody who thinks I suck NWA's dick, there you go. Do not watch that. And in fact, that whole episode wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but wasn't great. But that segment was horrible.
Yeah, I'll say NWA has been kind of hit or miss for me. Oh, I'd say about half the time I tune in and just kind of have it on as background.
Yeah.
But I still love the show. It's a great concept for a wrestling show, and God, I hope it goes on forever.
And speaking of that, Pasty, we are running long and going on forever, so we really should move into what was some of the best, probably the best wrestling we've seen all month.
Yeah, I think that's hands down easy to say.
And it happened last month.
Yes. And of course, we're talking about NXT War Games 3. This time there's women.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I got to give it to the women who had the first match on the card. The teams of Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, defeating Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray.
And I really got to give them credit. Not only was this a very unique War Games match, it wasn't like this is a match that's so easy to get stuck in the same rut.
Yes.
And it wasn't. They did a great job by having, first of all, the Dakota Kai turn, which you could see coming. We'll admit that.
I think it was the best part of the match, to be honest. It actually set it up to be something completely different than what we've seen.
And they didn't wait until the very end. They didn't wait for everyone to be in the ring and then her turn at the last moment. They waited for the door to open. She came out, turned around, and just started just wailing. And it ended up making the dynamic a 4 versus 2. And I think they really separated. We'll get into this a little bit more with the men's, but they really separated it in the kind of accessories they used. The women used a lot of the chairs and a lot of other weapons
I love
and stuff
that,
like that.
Shayna threw in every weapon underneath the ring.
Table.
Yeah, well, Shayna threw in every weapon underneath the ring. The crowd was chanting, "We want tables," and then booed Shayna Baszler when they got in the ring.
Tables.
And then for later, the men's War Games match really only used tables. It was great symbiosis throughout.
It was all tables.
It was good stuff.
It was. They really made this 2 very different War Games matches. So I give them credit, and I will say this women's War Games match is one of my favorite War Games matches I've ever seen.
Uh-huh.
Better than most, if not all, of the ones I've seen in NXT before then.
I think I'm calling this pay-per-view
my
the
determination
best War
on which
Games.
one I think was the best until at the end.
All right. But yeah, I do believe that this is the best of the 3 War Games.
It might have
that are
been.
NXT. First one is always easy to say, yeah, no, it's the original. It's great. It's not original, but whatever.
Right.
But the women's match was top notch. It was top notch to be 2v4 in that match and still come out victorious. Amazing. And of course, Rhea Ripley with the win for the team.
And then, oh yeah, which was great. It helped tell the story.
Yes, indeed.
Then, Pasty, we had the triple threat for the number 1 contender that was going to be on Survivor Series, and we had some debate back and forth on this, you and I, but it ended up being Pete Dunne, who was the obvious choice, whether it's right, wrong, or the other, defeating Damian Priest and Killian Dane in a very, very good triple threat match.
It was, yeah. Once again, Killian Dane coming out the box and blowing minds. Nobody expects the work you get from Killian Dane from him, and it's amazing. I loved every minute of this match. The technicality, I don't have any complaints about it. This was just a very solid triple threat match from 3 amazing competitors with so much potential.
Oh, all 3 of them are just, well, I'll give you 2 of them are just standouts and amazing. Killian Dane has potential, but he either hasn't
He's so much
to
better than we ever thought he would be, though. That's where I sit with him at this point in time. Coming from Sanity, like I didn't give him shit from Sanity or before that.
Yeah.
I can actually enjoy watching the guy now. And of course, he was the third wheel in this match.
Yeah, he definitely didn't stand out at all.
But he came back hard on Pete Dunne this week on NXT.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And
so
of course,
at least they're telling the story and they're following through on the story.
Yeah. Pete Dunne, of course, won the match, as we said, moved on to face Adam Cole at Survivor Series the next night. And he pinned Damian Priest, which gave Fat Mac both the point for this match and what would be the point for the tiebreaker if it comes down to it.
Correct. I was kind of surprised about that, to be honest, but like I said 2 weeks ago, storyline wise, it made sense. Although I was surprised to see Killian Dane and Pete Dunne on NXT instead of Damian and Pete, but the storyline's still there.
Yeah, apparently Damien's out with some kind of an injury for the moment. I just think they want to pull back on him. I don't think they want to overexpose him too fast.
Which is smart.
Yes, I think it's very smart. I think he's going to be a big asset for the company going forward.
Up next, Pasty, then we had Finn Balor defeating Matt Riddle. Of course, you and I both called this. The one thing I didn't call, and I'll just say this to myself, or for myself, I should say, good match. Wasn't impressed.
Yeah, it should have been better for what it's worth.
Maybe if they gave him 5 more minutes, it could have been a little better.
Yeah, probably. I also think as Balor, I think it takes a lot of people time to be able to work a good match with Matt Riddle.
Yeah. He's unique.
It's a hard thing to do. I mean, Cassius Ohno couldn't work a good match with Riddle to save his life, had to go to NXT UK, where now he claims to be the best wrestler in the best what do you say? The best British wrestler in the world or something.
Yeah,
like
the best British wrestler in the world. I love that. It's so awesome.
But that match that they had on NXT this week was bullshit. It was not good. It was just as bad as it always was. So it just goes to show how long it takes.
So
if you can have a good match with Matt Riddle, it can be an amazing match. But that's not for everybody. I think Balor can and will maybe somewhere in the future. But I think Balor needs to be fighting people like Ciampa and Cole and people more in his size group, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what we really need? We need Velveteen Dream back. That's what we need.
Oh, please give us him. I miss him. Then, Pasty, we had the main event, the men's war game. Team Ciampa ended up beating the undisputed era, to much of my chagrin.
I guess you could call them that.
Not anymore. Of course, Team Ciampa was Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic. I screwed that one up all of a sudden. And the surprise, Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Woo.
I was pretty excited. I also immediately didn't anticipate Kevin doing too much because I'm assuming he didn't have all that much time to prepare.
Well, you know, the way they were building it up, I almost thought it was a guarantee that it was going to be Johnny Gargano, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, if that's him. I did not expect him around right away. But I think they did a good job of really teasing it was going to be Gargano and then giving us somebody like Kevin Owens who I wasn't expecting it to be.
No, but it was very worth it. And some of the shit he did in the match was pretty fantastic. It's good to see Kevin Owens back on NXT's level. Granted, it only happened for the one night, and it probably won't happen again. I'm sure somewhere like 3-4 months down the road, he'll come over.
For now.
Yeah.
I hope so. He is so... Well, he's even said, you know, I mean, when he was there for like 1 month, and that was about it. He was there, won the championship, and left.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really an NXT guy, even though when
I think of him, I think of him
when he was in NXT. He was the standard bearer in the flag waver for NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Keith Lee got really wore down.
This was another just fantastic. He blew up quicker than. But in a match like this, a guy can do that.
Yeah, right. There's definitely some leeway there.
With this many people in there, he can take a while and take a little nap and. Yeah, it was a fun, very fun match, very hardcore, lot of hard hitting spots, stiff spots for sure. And I was on the fence of which War Games was better throughout the whole time. It's like, oh, the women's the men, the women's the men. And then I was getting there, the men's is really good, and I like how they're doing so much with so little gaga. There wasn't so many weapons, a lot of tables, but not a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
But then Pasty, the end of the match happened, and it stole the show for me. Holy